Welcome back to Central News. The Waikato and Bay of Plenty have had the privilege of a world-class Dale Carnegie workshop over the past 2 days. Tonight, Central News explores the Dale Carnegie philosophy, the workshops and the people involved. Regional VP and workshop facilitator Triana Newton joins me now. Triana, explain to us the focus of the workshops that you've done in Hamilton and Tauranga recently.
Well, the title was How to Win Friends and Influence People in a Digital Age. I think most people know Dale Carnegie for the How to Win Friends part. What we're trying to look at is how human interaction may change now that we have technology in the equation. So we were exploring that and some thought leadership in that area.
So how does the human relationship change with technology?
Well, I guess our perspective is it really doesn't. Sort of the needs and the things that people want to do and the way we need to connect doesn't change, but can we use technology to that advantage? And when it's maybe virtual versus face-to-face, how can we manage those pieces?
Okay, so firstly, what are some of the negatives that can come out of using technology for our main source of communication?
We forget there's a human on the other end, so the emails become terse, the sound bites across social media, people seem to be a little bit more outrageous about the things they say, and forget that there's a human on the other end of that connection. So some of those can come off negative.
And what about the benefits? How can we positively influence the way?
Sorry to interrupt. The group this morning, I think, had a lot of great ideas around this. When they were really clear on building relationships, communicating more effectively, they found different ways to use social media to reach out to customers and stay in touch. They found different ways to use virtual meetings in order to have that visual input and still keep that personal connection. So lots of positives if we use technology to serve us.
And how does Dale Carnegie actually teach these ways?
Virtually, we do live, we do virtual. A lot of our work with companies obviously is in company and coaching with them over a period of time. We also do, in many cases, have to do online because they have clients and team members around the world. So we have both applications.
And what feedback do you get for each format? Is there one that's favoured?
I think people still love live and the ability to come together. I don't think we've lost that, and I think we will always seek that. Those who couldn't attend, and this is the best way for them to be able to connect to something like this and still get coaching, then they're pretty happy about the results as well. And companies love the immediacy of it, right? They can get this at any time.
Anytime, anywhere.
You bet. Just
so let's talk about social media. What relationships does social media promote?
We've probably seen negative versions and we've seen positive versions. I know in New Zealand you have somebody who will allow you to, they'll help you buy likes for your website. I think it allows us this opportunity to stay connected to customers or family or friends. It allows a more real-time connection. So we can see what's going on. I think it gives us insights to each other, so we're better able to sort of bond and build rapport. So if we use it positively, it can do all those things.
And how can businesses use it to benefit them?
Well, intimacy with their clients, getting feedback on new products, being able to communicate rollouts of new products. We actually used our Facebook throughout Asia to ask about what our theme was for the 100th anniversary that we're having this year. And we had clients involved in that. So it gives them a connection to our business ongoing. And I think companies are looking to do that, to stay connected and not lose touch with clients.
So talk about your experience and Dale Carnegie's experience with social media. How are you using it as a company?
Obviously, we have all the regular applications as an organization being out there on Facebook and LinkedIn. Our operations tend to use these to stay connected with their clients, to be able to get to know their clients even better through things like LinkedIn, and to keep clients in touch with what's happening, new strategies, thought leadership. And we do offer a lot of the people who've been through Dale Carnegie coaching ongoing resources through social media.
So what impact has it had on the business, really stepping up the social media presence?
Almost all the operations that are doing that have seen a really steep increase in their internet business. So, that's where people are coming to us and saying, hey, we want to work with you. And I think we're going to see more of that in the future. We're not unlike other companies who are seeing more clients coming to them via the internet. So social media has been a big part of that.
So speaking about the future, what does the future of communication look like for you?
Ooh, I think we're in a really interesting transition and change. I'm sure the technology we're talking about today is going to be totally different in 5 years. So I think the future of communication is remembering the human element, remembering that we still need to be able to get a message across the right way, and then looking at what technology is going to do to help us do that, and the speed in which it'll allow us to do that.
So there'll always be a place for face-to-face interaction then?
I don't think we're ever going to get rid of it. We're not turning them all into robots yet, so it's people.
And now what is a virtual team and how do you go about leading one?
Virtual team, actually a good example would be my team. So I'm the regional vice president. I have a support team that supports our operations. One is in Taiwan, one is in Thailand, one is in Korea, one is in Singapore, and I travel back and forth to the different offices. We could not work unless we did that virtual team environment. So we do virtual meetings, all of our updates are done virtually, we do virtual team building, all sorts of things that actually help us connect as a team. So some of the principles you'd use for regular teams, you just use, but use technology to accomplish those when you can't physically be together.
And now give us your top tips for businesses wanting to make a debut on the social media or online scene. How can they break into that?
Get professional help, probably to start with. You know, find some people that have been successful on that. Stick to one or two of the disciplines. Don't try and do everything. Don't immediately go Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything. Find a couple of disciplines you can really commit to and do them well. And benchmark. There's lots of benchmarking opportunities out there now. You can see what other enterprises have done in order to be successful. So,
slow and steady is the key then.
Somewhat at the speed of technology. Yeah.
Great. Now stay tuned after the break when Triana explains how to manage different generations in the digital age. Welcome back to Central News. Now we are back with Regional VP and Workshop Facilitator Triana Newton to talk about the challenge of management across generations in the digital age. Now Triana, you've just run the workshop, How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age, here in our regions. So tell us about this workshop.
Really 5 themes to this. One is how we can be personally effective using technology, how we can strengthen relationships, communicate more effectively using technology, lead more effectively using technology, and also at the same time see if technology can help us achieve a work-life balance. So all of those themes were points today.
Everything and anything technology.
Yes.
And what reception did you receive from the New Zealand market?
Oh, it's been great. I think the amount of sharing and idea flow back and forth and was a great reception. People seem very keen to sort of sort out, you know, how this human interaction works, yet I've got this technology piece to sort through. So, whole range.
And how does digital communication impact different generations?
Well, you have your Gen Y folks that are probably the people born, you know, 1980 and up to now. They are digital natives. This is part of their world. They've known nothing else. You have other generations where this is really new and not necessarily something that's a comfortable method for them. So you've got different reactions based on those generations.
And for the older generations who aren't used to this high amount of technology, how can they get used to it or embrace the digital age?
Well, I think there's some signs out there. The age demographic growing on Facebook, the top one is 55 and above. So these folks are obviously showing that they want to be connected to the digital age as well. So I think there's so much opportunity to learn and pull off training and development on the net and through other means. Jump in and become a lifelong learner and you'll be okay in the digital age.
And what challenges can you face while managing staff from different generations?
Well, you've got, right now, 5 generations in the workforce. All have very different outlooks and work ethics. You've got to find ways to be able to bring those together and leverage the advantages of them. So how can you build teamwork more around that area? How can you make sure that the strengths of a Gen Y and their creativity can be matched with the life skills of your baby boomers and traditionalists? So it's really facilitating that now.
So how could you implement some of these best practices right here in New Zealand?
I don't think New Zealand's going to be any different. You're facing these as well. I know it's a very receptive business community, so I think the first thing is awareness. You've got to be aware that we are going to be facing some of the challenges that the workforce's blending are going to create. You're about to have a very large Gen Y workforce in New Zealand, and they're going to push the boundaries of how work gets done. So awareness is one, willingness to make some changes, and then let's get to action.
And how willing are businesses out there to make the changes, embrace Gen Y, accept the older generations?
Most of our clients, we do find, you know, that is a lot of work we're doing, and you're going to find people are at one end of the continuum or not. They're just beginning to understand this or wondering, why are we having this issue? Haven't really looked at it. Some are really proactive and are saying, how can I make sure this is our competitive advantage? Because there is a real competitive advantage if you have the strength, longevity, and tribal knowledge of your baby boomers and traditionalists matched up against your Gen Y and your Gen X, who are creative and progressive. So that is a great advantage to companies. So those that are willing, get some coaching on it, and they can make a move.
You'll see the difference. And tell us, what are some of the Dale Carnegie principles and communication strategies that local businesses should consider implementing?
Well, it really depends, I guess, where their business is and what they're trying to accomplish. We call it being brilliant at the basics. There's some things that just even the niceties in our email communication, a stop to say, how's your day going before we launch into the comment, making sure we remove sound bites and become a little bit more vivid in our communication, picking up the phone still, using virtual meetings instead of just a phone call meeting so we can have that personal interaction. Those are all little things companies can do internally and externally that do make a difference.
Now, a lot of your job is involved with international travel, so tell us some of the success stories you've seen around the world.
One of the things I like about the Dale Carnegie business is the universality, and I think that proves that human nature is not that much different as we go around the world. And as we globalize, I think what's exciting is you start seeing companies who are being very successful in having these sort of multinational, multicultural teams, and they've recognized that people still drive companies. If we can coach and develop those people, we're going to have a real advantage. So some of the companies you see are at the top of the list. You'd recognize the Microsofts and all these other kind of companies. Some of them are really small local companies that have had some great success as well.
Speaking of different size businesses here, you've been with Dale Carnegie for 20 years now, and like we mentioned, travel all over the world, looking after small and large businesses. So what principles remain the same regardless of size?
People, this is a human business, it's human interaction. And if we keep to that simplicity sometimes and remember that how we treat those people, how we engage them and connect them to our business, how we do that with our customers as well, following those principles is going to be an advantage for your multinational, your mid-size, or your small companies. And in some cases, small and mid-sized companies have a bigger advantage because they can move faster.
And now you've mentioned multicultural companies as well. When you throw multicultural in there with different generations and different ages, how does that impact it?
It gives us business for a long period of time because those are all elements we're facing as we globalize. This world is getting much smaller. So you're seeing some of the same things that you would see on the multi-generational side also happen when you put different cultures together. The thing is finding a common platform that everybody can sort of plug into and say, okay, this is not owned by one culture. This is something we can all do business together in this way that we all own and we have shared leadership in. So it's changing some of those thoughts about doing business by a certain country and now saying, hey, this is the global way we do business and operate together.
Thanks so much for being here with us today, Triana.
I really appreciate the time.
Now stay tuned after the break when Michael Shaw explains the methodology of Dale Carnegie. Welcome back to Central News. Before the break, Triana Newton talked about how technology and the internet impacts the way we communicate. Now Michael Shaw joins me to explain what Dale Carnegie is all about. Michael, tell us, what is Dale Carnegie?
Well, Dale Carnegie is success through human relations. We started 100 years ago in 1912 in New York, where Dale Carnegie ran his first program, and now we run programs in 86 countries and in 30 languages.
Such an achievement. And tell us, what are the programs and the training that you run?
Well, we work three main ways. The first way is through public programs, and these are really longer term coaching programs that really focus on creating permanent performance shifts, and that's in leadership management, sales and presentation skills. The second way is our customised corporate solutions. So we have 150 2-hour training modules that cover employee engagement, leadership, sales, customer service, presentations and process improvement. And the third way that we work is through seminars, like the seminars we've been running the last couple of days, and we're also moving into live online training.
Something to fit everyone then.
Yes,
and now
absolutely.
100 years, congratulations, that's a massive achievement. So how has Dale Carnegie received so much international success in the past century?
Well, I think it's really focusing on core principles that really work. So Dale Carnegie spent many years working with participants and really learning and identifying what made a difference in their lives, both professionally and personally. And also I think that the methodology, the unique training methodology and coaching really makes quite a difference. So it's very interactive. Dale Carnegie really engages, our trainers really engage the participants, and there is we use something called coaching in the moment, which is where we ask the participant to apply what they've learned, and then we give them a lot of encouragement, or if they need correction, we correct them and then coach them to apply it immediately. So people really get to experience what it feels like to apply the skills and the principles in the right way.
And what presence do you have here in the Waikato and Bay of Plenty?
Well, we've been operating in New Zealand for 50 years, and in the Bay of Plenty and Waikato for 15. So we don't work with every company, obviously, but we have very loyal clients who, as their businesses grow and develop, they get us back to work with their people as needs arise.
So how have our regions responded to Dale Carnegie, and how is that growing the business?
Well, very, very well. We work really across all industries, in manufacturing, with the farming sector, in health, and professional services. So it really doesn't matter what the industry is. Also, I think there is quite an awareness of the Dale Carnegie brand. We do find we have a lot of people from the UK or from South Africa that arrive in New Zealand, and they seek us out.
So it really is a global company travelling around the world then?
Yeah, absolutely.
And tell us, if you had to summarise it, what would you say Dale Carnegie is trying to achieve?
Well, I guess we're trying to increase the capability and capacity of local businesses through developing their key people. And we can do that working with the senior managers or with the teams as a whole. We're also a provider for the New Zealand Trade and Enterprise Management Capability Development Scheme, and this is a great opportunity for local businesses, less than 50 employees, to actually gain assistance and funding to really develop their teams and move forward. Because really the small and medium-sized businesses are really the backbone of the New Zealand economy.
So tell us about some of the success stories from right here in our regions.
Well, one of my first clients was Peter Henderson. He owns Bay Sandblasting Services, so they're a small company of about 20 employees, 20 to 30. And when we started working with them, it was a pretty rough and tough place, but Peter really had a vision of raising the standards not only in his business, the quality and safety, etc., and level of professionalism, but really to raise the standard of the industry throughout New Zealand. So now in the Bay, all the sandblasting companies are really collaborating on large projects. They all provide consistent quality and safety standards for the larger clients. And Peter is also involved with the National Association to try and get the rest of the industry up there and provide better service to clients.
But it's not just about the businesses, is it? It's also about maintaining that work-life balance, which has been one of the recent topics. So why is this so important?
Well, I think it's very important for an employer, because if the employees are happy both at work and at home, then they're going to be healthier, happier, more productive. So the great thing with our training is that the human relation and leadership and worry and stress principles are very transferable back into home life.
Definitely something to consider for businesses. That's it for today. According to Michael and Triana, there is so much to learn from Dale Carnegie. To find out more, visit bop-waikato.dalecarnegie.co.nz. We love hearing from our viewers, so any feedback or story ideas, email us at news@tvcentral.co.nz or leave us a comment on Facebook. Thanks for joining us tonight. I will be back with you tomorrow with more guests from in and around the region. Until then, I'm Kasia Gillings. Have a great night.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.